Hey guys, welcome back. So now we're jumping back into more Rainbow Rowell's 2022 She-Hulk series, which for the most part is a story of Jennifer Walters hitting the reset button by stepping back from being an Avenger and going back to practicing law in an attempt to try more of a civilian approach. So let's get into it. But first, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to catch the spills every week, and don't forget to hit that bell up top so we can squat up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so in our last talk, we'd seen Jennifer more or less get settled into the new groove, only for her then to get hit with the curveball of Jack of Hearts just showing up, who's supposed to be dead. But initially when Jennifer sees him, the first thing that comes to mind is what had taken place in Avengers Volume 3, Issue 66. During the Red Zone event, when at the time, the Avengers were investigating the worst bioterrorist attack in history, which in the bigger picture turned out to be orchestrated by the Red Skull. But during this time, all of the Avengers had been supplied protective suits from the EPA, and at one point, Jennifer's suit was compromised during a run-in with AIM in the Red Zone area. And with Jennifer being exposed to this aggressive flesh-eating bacteria, Jack of Hearts attempted to save her life by just flying her out of there. But when Jennifer came to, she was screaming for Jack to let her go, and it wasn't until then where Jack had realized that he had inadvertently drained Jennifer of her gamma energy, which initially caused her to revert from her She-Hulk form back to her human form for the first time in a while. But this had then only lasted for a moment before she hulked out again into a more savage and mindless form, which had then led Jennifer to looking for her cousin Bruce in order to get his help, which initially started as a good family bonding moment until Hawkeye shot Bruce, made him Hulk out when he was trying to keep Jennifer busy before the other Avengers showed up. And it was here where Jack of Hearts was sent in to help Jennifer and regulate her gamma energy, which he was successful at doing, even though at this time it was very risky for him to do, with his powers growing more unstable and the countless hours he would spend in the Zero Chamber were not helping. But for Jennifer, with her seeing Jack arrive here and in this condition, initially she asks him, should she call Reed or Hank or Tony? But Jack is just like, no, he's fine. And mind you, the last time that Jennifer had saw Jack of Hearts during Avengers Disassemble, he was a zombie. But Jennifer doesn't even go into that at this point, and she offers him a glass of water, but Jack declines, and mainly because he doesn't usually need to consume either food or water, because with him being half human and half Contraxian, in addition to his incident where he was exposed to zero fluid, these things had basically made Jack of Hearts a self-sufficient nuclear reactor. But at this point, Jack is just looking like he needs any help he can get. But also with Jack arriving here and this being effectively Janet Van Dyne's apartment, Jennifer then asks if Jack was actually looking for Janet, but Jack then responds to Jennifer like no, he was definitely looking for her, but he doesn't know why. But then with hearing this, Jennifer then tells Jack like, okay, let's start with what you do remember. Let's start from the beginning. And it's here where Jack recalls a time when Tony was helping him out after building a chamber for Jack so he can drain his radiation every night, but over the course of time it wasn't working. Because regardless of Jack of Hearts spending all the time that he wasn't out helping the Avengers inside that chamber, his condition continued to grow unstable, the radiation was eating him alive, and his suit was absorbing too much radiation from the atmosphere for it to contain. And even back then, Tony had told Jack of Hearts that Jack would reach his limit one day, and when that day comes, he would go off like an atom bomb. And from here, Jack continues to tell his story, letting Jennifer know that of course the next part she's well aware of, which from here leads Jack to talking about the Red Zone incident when he had inadvertently drained Jennifer's gamma energy. And like we had talked about, more had happened from there, but through the course of this, Jack kind of skips through by telling Jennifer that really it was that incident that caused him to want to leave the Avengers and everyone else, with him believing himself to be a threat to everyone. But as Jack's recalling these memories, for us this is like a summary of events leading up to Avengers issue 491, which at the time was effectively the death of Jack of Hearts. But with how he's recalling this now and him telling Jennifer what he remembers, on one hand this is presented in a way to where these are the bits and pieces of his memory that he remembers, because as he recalls these events, there's a gap in time where he does not remember or make any mention of his return as a zombie in Avengers Disassembled or during Children's Crusade when the Young Avengers traveled back in time to that very moment and saved the life of Scott Lang. And from what we know, even after that he was brought back in Marvel Zombies Supreme by Project Pegasus, but at this time with him telling Jennifer what he remembers, it just skips from his initial death to a more recent moment when he had just woken up in a container where some mysterious person was draining his radiation. And even now Jack's not sure if they were just trying to help him or if they were just using him. And the crazy thing is that somebody could be doing that right now with your information while you're on the internet, but you can avoid that by using this video sponsor, Surfshark VPN. because now, more than ever before, we use the internet for everything, and there's a countless number of businesses and weirdos who are out there who just want to see what you're doing. But with a VPN service like Surfshark, you can have more privacy, security, and control, instead of just going online unprotected and hoping for the best, leaving your financial information and personal files at the mercy of whoever's watching. So to avoid that, I've been using Surfshark for a while now, and I put it on everything because they allow you to use one subscription on an unlimited number of devices. So if I'm shopping on my phone or my iPad, or if I'm working or gaming on my PC, it gives me peace of mind knowing that I have total privacy and control. And with Surfshark giving me access to over 3,200 servers in over 95 different countries, regardless of where I am, I have the freedom to access the entire internet and watch content that may be only available in select locations. So click the link in the description and use my code DOPE for 83% off and 3 extra months for free, and get the most out of your internet experience with Surfshark VPN. But with Jack recently awakening and finding himself in this new radiation chamber, he was able to get himself to a brief moment of clarity, and upon making his way out, he knew that he had to go see Jennifer. And we also find out that he was able to find her because he remembered her gamma signature, which he can pretty much remember from any Hulk that he comes across. But with Jack being here now, we come to find out very quickly that something's different, because when Jennifer offers him another glass of water, at first he just looks at the glass like he doesn't remember drinking it and finishing it so quickly, and when she brings him another, he just tosses that one back too, and after that he just keeps going for more, like the guy hasn't drinking water in years. And really he hasn't since college, since his incident, but the fact that he's doing it now, it just raises so many questions. But with Jennifer seeing how thirsty this guy is, Jack then tells her like no, he doesn't eat either, but when she brings the food out, he destroys that too. And with seeing this, Jennifer tells Jack that obviously something is different about him, like he's been altered, and it might be in his best interest to reach out to Tony Stark so they can begin to figure out what's going on with Jack. But of course he refuses, saying that Tony will most likely lock him away in another chamber, but Jack would prefer that if he is locked away again, that is done of his own choice. But also at this time, he's not certain of staying around near Jennifer either, because there's a possibility that he could be harming her just by being near her again. But Jennifer quickly tells Jack that she feels fine, she doesn't feel like she's being drained. But at this point, with Jack kind of slowing down, Jennifer asks him like, when's the last time you slept? And of course Jack of Hearts, he's like, I don't sleep, I don't need to where then at a moment's notice he just passes out on the couch, to where from there Jennifer just lets the guy sleep, and the next day she just goes on to her second day of working for Mallory Book. But then after this we then head over to the location where Jack had recently escaped from, and it's here where we hear the voices of both Mark and April, who we'll talk more about later on because we don't see them for a while. But just with us getting a glimpse of this place, we see the container that Jack of Hearts had broken out of, as well as a ton of information that's been collected about She-Hulk. But from here we go over to Mallory Book's law office on Jennifer's second day of work, and at this point in time business is painfully slow, and mainly because Mallory has chosen to step away from taking superhuman clients, and with her allowing Jennifer to work for, she made Jennifer agree to also not take on any superhuman clients. But with them doing this, not only can they not represent any client that they've taken on before, which pretty much were all superhuman, but it now has them started from the ground up with no money coming in. So we'll see how long that lasts before some changes have to be made. But with Jennifer coming here, she also comes to find out that her good old friend Awesome Andy is back. And Awesome Andy, or Awesome Android, he was originally created by the Mad Thinker when he had broken into the Baxter building and used Reed Richards' notes in order to create a living android. But long story short, they had all worked together at the superhuman law offices of GLK and H. And for a while there was this thing about Mallory Book and Awesome Andy being together, and Mallory trying to keep it under wraps, which of course broke Awesome Andy's awesome little heart. But fast forward to now, they are very much together. And on top of that, Mallory's the reason why Andy was able to come back after the Mad Thinker had wiped Andy's hard drive. So where then later Mallory had just restored Andy from a backup, and now they're together, and also Andy is partner at the law firm. So there's that. But on top of this, with Jennifer trying to scourge through her Rolodex, which is a clear sign of how long it's been, but with her trying to find former clients who are eligible, and eligible meaning human, she struggles to find any who don't know her for just running off and helping the Avengers. And it's here where she gets a call from former teammate Ben Grimm, and as it turns out, Ben is getting sued for not having Lockjaw on a leash. And he's trying to come in to have a consultation with Jen, but again, Mallory's not having that. And he tries to tell Jen like he'll come in with a trench coat and a hat, like none will be the wiser. But Jennifer's like, nah buddy, that's not gonna work. And she tells Ben that they can meet up at another time outside the office. But right after this call from Ben Grimm, she then gets a call from Quicksilver, who's dealing with a speeding ticket, which once again is another client that she just can't take. But after a long day at work, Jennifer stops and gets a thick crust pizza, and she heads back to the apartment to check on Jack of Hearts, who is still asleep. So Jennifer wakes him up, and he lets her know that he didn't sleep the whole day. He got up, he ate, drank some water, like the guy was busy. But from here, Jennifer then goes back to helping Jack of Hearts figure out what he can piece together, what he can remember, but once again, all he really has is what he told her the day before, with him waking up knowing that he had to get to her. And it's here where he pitches the idea that he probably felt like he needed to get to her in order to apologize for draining her power, but she tells Jack that he had already apologized for that, and it's not something that she holds against him because he wasn't in control. And Jennifer expresses to him that she definitely knows what it's like to be in that position because she's been there before, and she tells Jack, like, where would she be if people didn't forgive her for the times that she lost control? But even with her saying that, it doesn't help Jack of Hearts because he was the reason that she lost control in Idaho. But through the course of this conversation, Jessica breaks out the legal pad because it helps her sort out her thoughts, but also so they can break down what they know so they can get a step closer to figuring out what's going on with Jack of Hearts. And through this conversation, Jennifer sums up that they're not really sure if Jack of Hearts actually died, though I'm pretty sure he did a couple times, but we'll see if that changes. But through the course of this, with Jennifer asking Jack of Hearts to break down more of his history and what he remembers as far as his Contraxian mother and his human father, and how Jack had fell into a vat of zero fluid the day his father was murdered, and from there to his time with S.H.I.E.L.D. and his time with Tony, and as well as the Contraxian government. And it's here where Jennifer tells Jack that it sounds like he's reciting this as if someone read it to him and he's just reading it back. And he admits in a way that it kind of is, because much of what he'd known at some point was someone else just telling him. And really it's from there when Jennifer tells Jack to focus on what he knows to be true, and the rest they'll more or less just take it from there. But after finishing their meal, Jennifer then asks Jack if he's tried to use his powers. And it's here where they start off with trying to use his devastating beams, and they kind of start small by aiming at the pizza box in the bathtub, but when Jack tries to blast the box, he just can't make it happen. And I'm not sure if it's because Jennifer's watching and he's nervous, who knows. But then she asks Jack to try flying, and he does rather quickly. Or really, he just more or less levitates, and he tells Jennifer that he knows something's wrong. His power feels like it's out of his reach. So then Jennifer's like, maybe it's the suit, maybe you should take it off. But Jack lets her know that it can't be the suit because the suit just keeps in radiation, it doesn't affect his powers. So then she asks Jack if he's ever taken off the suit, and he says no, never. And right then she asks him, like, not even to use the bathroom? And once again Jack is like, nope, cause I don't never need to. And it's right in that moment, mid-sentence, where nature calls, and Jennifer just walks out the bathroom to leave him to it. But then it's from here where Jennifer then calls Patsy Walker, also known as Hellcat, and also Jennifer's longtime close friend. But with Jennifer reaching out to Patsy, she's definitely asking a favor, because Jennifer wants to get access to Jack of Hearts' file from the Avengers database. But as of lately, like we've seen, Jennifer no longer has clearance. But since Patsy's been doing some extracurricular activities with the Mr. Tony Stark, Jennifer figured that Patsy could get access to these files so that she could have more information on Jack of Hearts and help him out. But after this phone call, Jennifer then goes to check on Jack, and she brings him a change of clothes since they figured that his suit was no longer of use to him, and so she leaves the clothes outside the door for Jack to put on. And when he puts them on, we find out that they are very much true to the theme, and definitely a few sizes larger than what would actually fit him. But it'll have to do for now. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below so we can go to patreon.com/dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.